Today we're reviewing 4 premium shoes from brands like Asics, New Balance, Brooks and Nike, all under the price of $100, so you get a better idea if you can still get a premium shoe at an affordable price with the right type of cushioning, fit and comfort. The first shoe that we're going to recommend is the Asics Gel-Pulse 15. Now it's got 35mm of stack in the rear foot, which means that it's super cushioned when you transition from heel to toe strike. So when you make that initial contact with the ground, you got lots of padding. It's even got an extra gel pad insert inside the midsole. We think that's a little bit of a gimmick, but it just highlights the importance that Asics are putting in that initial contact phase with the ground. It comes in at 260 grams, so not too heavy for an everyday trainer. It's got Asics Flight foam cushioning, so they haven't skimped on the cushioning. It doesn't give you as much energy return as some of the premium brands, but it's still super comfortable and a really nice feel if you're walking or standing all day. Then in terms of the fit on top, it's got plenty of room, so a true to size fit, plenty of space in the toe box. It does come in a 2E width, so it gives you that option. The tongue is nice and padded, it's not gusseted, so it can move side to side unless you lock down the lace as well. It's got plenty of padding all around the heel collar. So an excellent overall shoe by Asics, fitting underneath that $100 bill. Then when we move on to the New Balance Fresh Foam Arishi 6, so as you can tell by the name, it's got New Balance's renowned fresh foam cushioning, which is super soft, really feels like you're walking on a cloud, so when you apply pressure to it, you sink into it. It's quite a light shoe, coming in about 242 grams for men's 9 US, so slightly lighter than the Gel-Pulse 15. It's got a little bit less cushioning in the rear foot and the forefoot than the Asics, but as I say, it's super soft, super comfortable. Then as we move into the upper, it's got this woven knit, which is like a sock-like fit. It is a little bit tight at first, but it does stretch overall, and New Balance have plenty of options in terms of width availability if you have a wider foot. It is quite a breathable shoe, and it's got a nice padded tongue as well. Similar to the Asics, it's not gusseted, but it's got a little bit less cushioning on the heel counter. It's a little bit higher, and it's got a little bit of flexibility in that heel counter, so very much a neutral day-to-day light cushioned shoe. Then as we move on to the Brooks Launch 10, this is a completely different type of cushioning than what you get in the Gel-Pulse and in the Fresh Foam. It's a much firmer cushioning. It's from the DNA Loft cushioning of the Brooks range, which is a mid-range type of cushioning, so not quite up there with the Loft V3, but it's a very firm, responsive shoe. So if you apply pressure to it, it works like a spring and pushes you back. It's nice and flexible in the toe box, so it allows your big toe to bend when you're entering in the push-off phase of the gait cycle. It's the lightest of all 4 shoes, so coming in at 230 grams for a men's 9 US. So super light shoe, nice firm cushioning. It has plenty of stack in the rear foot, so 34mm in comparison to the 35mm in the Gel-Pulse, so it gives you lots of padding on there, but the type of resilient foam that is in this Brooks shoe, it gives you more of a push off than the sinking sensation that you get in the Asics. On top, it's got a normal true to size fit, relatively plenty of space inside that shoe. They do have a wider version available. It's got a very thin tongue compared to what you see in the Asics and the New Balance, so just to keep a note in case you really like to have a tight lockdown on your laces, you might feel it on the front of your ankle because there's not as much padding there. Has a nice high heel counter, so those of you that like padding coming up above the base of the heel, that can be quite nice. And it's got plenty of flexibility in the heel cup as well, so very much a neutral shoe. It's a bit more stable than what you get in the New Balance, but probably not as stable in terms of neutral shoes as what you get in the Asics. Then finally, as we move on to the Nike Winflow 10, this is an excellent all-round shoe. You know, very similar to the premium model, the Nike Pegasus, but they've modified it slightly so that it fits in a different range. And the way that they've done that is they've really narrowed the heel, midfoot and forefoot underneath the shoe, so it's not as stable as what you get in the Pegasus. It's a little bit heavier than what you get in the Pegasus, and as a result it comes in about 283 grams, but as a result of getting all that extra weight, they pack in lots of cushioning. So you get 35mm of cushioning in the rear foot, 25 in the forefoot, giving you a 10mm difference from the back to the front of the shoe. As we move into the upper, it's a super wide shoe, so lots of space for your toes to splay, lots of space in terms of the forefoot. It's a true to size, so you don't need to worry about moving up or down in the sizing. It's got loads of padding in the tongue, and something that's usually kept for more premium models, it's got a gusseted tongue, so it means the tongue is stitched into the shoe so it doesn't move from side to side, especially if you're moving at quicker speeds. Lots of padding around the heel cup, and it's nice and flexible on the heel cup as well, so probably moderate stiffness. So this is an excellent neutral trainer. I'd say if you are attuned to a typical neutral trainer, this can be great for you. If you need an extra bit of stability, I generally advise patients to stay away from it because of the narrow heel and forefoot. It lacks that bit of stability that you need to keep centered in the shoe unless you're typically very stable underfoot. So overall, an excellent all-rounder. And if you're looking for a neutral shoe that's naturally very wide, super comfortable, lots of cushioning with a high heel to toe drop, then we look at the Winflow. If you're looking for a bit more firmer or responsive of a shoe that's neutral, then we look at the Brooks Launch 10. If you're looking for super comfort, cloud-like fit, then we look at the New Balance. And if you're looking for a more stable neutral shoe, then we look at the Gel-Pulse. If you've got any questions on the shoes, please leave them in the comment section. If you found the video helpful, please subscribe to the channel. There's links to all the shoes in the description below.